In 1984, Congress passed bankruptcy legislation that included a definition for the term state. That definition excluded Puerto Rico from Chapter 9 of the bankruptcy laws. And for the next few minutes, we'll discuss efforts to amend that code and treat Puerto Rico as a state when it comes to Chapter 9. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Robert Trainum, and I'm joined today by Rafael Fantauzzi. He's the president and CEO of the National Puerto Rican Coalition. Rafael, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Robert.
So why do we need this? Because one would think that as Puerto Rico, as not necessarily a part of the homeland, or the mainland rather, but and also not a state, you could make the argument that it's somewhere in the middle. So why do we need this bankruptcy updated legislation?
Well, you know, the reality is that for a lot of things, Puerto Rico has been included in a lot of considerations when it comes to congressional legislation. In this case, this was an omission that wasn't on purpose, but it is an incredible mechanism that assists municipalities to be able to handle debt consolidation or renegotiation.
So in other words, when they issue bonds and so forth, they're able to raise the money and therefore be protected under bankruptcy law if in fact that happens.
That is correct. It's an organized mechanism that is essential, that in a lot of states do have, and we think it's important for Puerto Rico to also be included.
And why do you think Puerto Rico was excluded from the beginning back in 1984?
You know, I don't think it was intentional. I think it was just an oversight. So, you know, that we don't necessarily are focusing on that. We're just trying to focus on right now where it's mostly needed. And in case there is an opportunity to be able to use it, not that it's going to be used, but it would be important for Puerto Rico to have that tool because it will enable the process to be an organized process.
And speaking of the process, Rafael, I assume this has to go through the House and the Senate, and presumably the president has to sign this into law since it's a technical fix in the law, or is there something different here?
You know what? It has to go everywhere, and it has to be. It will probably be included in some bigger legislation, and you know, and see if that mechanism passes through. But that's why it's important for us to continue to solicit the support of all members of Congress and the community.
And speaking of members of Congress, are there any members of Congress that are adamantly opposed to this, and if so, why?
Well, you know what? There are people on both sides. There are people on both sides. I think that the detractors are mostly concerned that because the bondholders are saying that now this is happening after they were able to purchase the bonds, that you know it really gives them a little bit of concern.
I see.
But we're just trying to tell them that this is an organized mechanism. If we don't have that, who knows what could happen?
And are you optimistic that something like this could pass the Congress, let's say within the next year or so, if not sooner?
You know, we are. There is bipartisan support, and there's also a lot of support from every party on the island. So everybody's united in to make sure that Puerto Rico would be included into this.
This is a critical question. Back in 2008, there was a whole federal bailout, if you will, of the General Motors and of the financial industry and so forth. Is there any risk of a federal bailout if, in fact, something like this passes the Congress?
There is. And as a matter of fact, we believe that we're probably 2 months away for something like that.
2 months?
That's correct. If mechanisms are not put into place, if the Department of Treasury does not actually get more actively involved. And that could be good politically or bad politically. So all of these things could be very helpful.
So, Rafael, it sounds like the time for action is now. It sounds like this is something that's needed now more than ever for all the reasons that you just mentioned in a few moments ago. We got about 20 seconds left. Very quickly, is there anything that the general public that's watching this program now, is there anything they can do? Should they write their member of Congress? Should they write the president? What should they do?
You know, all of those things are always very helpful. We need a lot of people in the community, voters, to actually contact their congressional representatives and say, we support this because we have to take care of our American citizens.
Rafael Fantauzzi, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for joining us for this edition of Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Robert Trainum. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.